Arkham Asylum, a game that started arguably the best superhero video game franchise of all time. For this video, I'm going to review the game that started this incredible gaming franchise. I'll talk about the story, gameplay, and anything else I find interesting to talk about. I will do this for every Arkham game and then rank them in a separate video. And with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League coming out in a few months, expect a lot of Arkham videos coming soon. I have a lot of great things cooking up that I'm very excited to show you all. Now, without any more delay, let's start talking about Arkham Asylum. So before I deep dive into everything, I want to give my basic thoughts. I think this is a really good game. One of the reasons I love this game is because it feels like a horror game, and let me explain. The basic premise of this game is that Batman is all alone in Arkham Asylum, which is home to some of the craziest psychopaths ever. The game has a horror vibe to it, including the Arkham inmates you fight. There are a lot of jump scares in this game that are actually, legitimately creepy. There will be times when you're just walking in the halls and an inmate will try to eat your face or something. And don't even get me started on that fake glitch jump scare that Scarecrow delivered for us where he made our game, fake glitch. The gameplay was very fresh for the time, and this game is very much honoring Batman the Animated Series. They have hired Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, and Arlene Sorkin to replay their roles after the animated series. This game was inspired by a horrifying comic written by comic book legend Grant Morrison. The comic is called Batman Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth. I have read it, and it is something interesting for sure, and is arguably one of the darkest comic books for Batman. It's probably the scariest Batman story for sure, thanks to incredible artwork by Dave McKean. Now time to stop yapping, and time to deep dive into Batman Arkham Asylum. Our story begins with a great scene where Batman takes Joker to Arkham. As we learn more about the plot and learn more about Joker's plan, if you replay the game, you can notice little hints at his plan all the way at the beginning of the game. And it's hard to review this game compared to the other Arkham games, since this one is a lot smaller on scale compared to those. All the other Arkham games are much more open world, but in this one you stay at Arkham Asylum the whole time. Yeah, you can go outside, and there is like a little bat cave you can go into, but overall it is still very much not open world compared to the other ones. And obviously the graphics aren't as good, but I think the game is still very much visually pleasing with this dark tone that the game has. Yeah, there's certainly not as many characters, and the boss fights aren't great, but we'll talk about the negatives after looking at the great things in this game. I can assure you there are much more good things than bad things about this game. Obviously, the voice acting is top-notch, and I love all the performances. You obviously have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill giving stunning performances as always, but they aren't the only ones. Again, as I said in the beginning, the game is pretty creepy. Since you are all alone, you are just roaming the halls of this terrifying asylum. And although I did say most boss fights aren't good, the Poison Ivy one is pretty good, and the Killer Croc one is incredible. That one is certainly creepy as you were being chased by Killer Croc and have to throw batarangs at him before he can catch up to you. Another thing I love is that the game introduces some incredible features that would stay for all of the Arkham games. I've always loved the villains mocking you when you die, but in this game, they're a little quicker so they don't take as long, which I'm happy with. In the other Arkham games, after seeing the character mocking you, you then have this, graphic card telling you what just happened as if you weren't playing the game. This game does not have that, which I'm very happy with. This game also introduced some incredible gameplay style. Yeah, it would get better as the games went on, but this is the game that gave us some incredible gameplay at the time. No, I'm not going to talk about the positives as long because most people know them. Some of my complaints I have never seen anyone else mention, so let's get to those. My biggest issue with this game is that it's not as fun to play as the other Arkham games. Whenever I replayed all the games, this one I kind of dreaded replaying for a few reasons. The main one is because the game does not tell you where to go. There's no way for you to mark your location either on the map, so sometimes you just kind of have to walk around and hope you're going in the right direction. Also, a lot of rogues gallery are not in this game. Batman has some iconic villains and a lot of them aren't in it. The only major players in this game are Joker, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Scarecrow. Yeah, you have to fight some other characters like Bane, Victor Zsasz, and Killer Croc, but they aren't major players in this story. Compare that to the other games. In City, you have Hugo Strange, Two-Face, Catwoman, Penguin, the Joker, Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn, Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, and so many more. In Origins, you have Deathstroke, Firefly, Bane, Shiva, Copperhead, Black Mask, and those are just some. I'm not even mentioning, Penguin and Mr. Freeze in that game. I think you get the idea. This game should have been a lot shorter, but they kind of dragged it out with unnecessary missions that could have been avoided, that just made it much more hard to play. I just think it could have been a lot shorter. So, out of all of them, this one I enjoyed the least when I replayed it. When I first played through this game, I was so frustrated that they would not tell me where to go, so I had to watch videos instead of playing the game for myself, which I rarely do. In the other games, it is much easier to find where you're supposed to go, unlike in this one. And like I mentioned earlier, the boss fights are mostly terrible if I'm being honest. Bane's was pretty disappointing, and at the end, the Titan Joker fight was not good. That leads to another issue. The final fight with Titan Joker does not fit thematically with the rest of the game. The game is mostly this horrifying adventure with Batman having to stop the insane criminals in Arkham Asylum. And all of a sudden, at the end, we're fighting a big monster version of the Joker. And the fight wasn't even that good. You have to just, barely fight him. He just does a few swings, then he jumps up and let you fight some of his, goons, and then you pull him down, and they just repeat that 3 times. That's the final fight in this game. Yeah, not very fun. A lot of other fights are like that, like Bane's, he just runs at you. You just dodge him and then beat him up. All the Titan fights aren't very fun. So although the game is challenging in the sense of they don't tell you where to go or anything, I think that the boss fights are actually pretty easy. But just not very fun, they're not very fun to play. And one final thing is there's not as much for you to do. There aren't really any side missions, just challenges. And what I mean by that is in all the other games, there are a ton of most wanted missions. Like in Arkham City, you had some great ones with Bane and Victor Zsasz and Azrael. And then you had them in Arkham Origins as well, where you have Enigma, Riddler, all that stuff. Riddler for Arkham City, and then Knight. In Origins, he's called Enigma. But then in Arkham Knight, you have a ton as well. There are so many great challenges and little side missions you can do in those 3 games. But in this one, there's not really that. You still have the challenges, but they aren't as fun, since again, you're much more limited with this game and combat and stuff. But I feel like that's not as much of a big deal. I don't play a lot of the challenges. I do like doing the side missions, but challenges I've never really done. So I just don't play this one. Once I completed the story mode, I just stopped. Because, again, not that much fun on that side. Now, it may seem like I have much more issues than positives, but I can assure you I still like this game a lot. I just think the games got better as they went along. Please don't jump me, because this is just my opinion. I still love a lot of things about this game. I think the story is really good. There are a lot of great things about this game, like voice acting, and it, again, looks beautiful, even for the time. Rocksteady's always done a great job with the visual aspects of the games. I just think sometimes it's not very fun to play. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't jump me or something, because this is just me goofing off and reviewing a franchise that most of the Batman community adores. Let me know what you think of this game in the comments below, and stay tuned for the other Arkham videos. And as always, stay geeky. Also, this one is a lot shorter than the other ones, because there's just not a lot to talk about here. But I assure you, the other ones are going to be much more longer. But anyway, stay geeky, and I'll see you guys next time.